Breaking news, breaking news, breaking news. This one's about RKelly put in for a sentence commutation. He's requesting to get his sentence erased. That's it. Not to get his conviction erased. He wants to get time served is all he's asking for. He's saying, keep the charges, put me on the ex-offender, put me on whatever you want to put me on, just release me. I'm going to break it down and explain to you how he exhausted all his remedies, and you have to go through a federal process called a 2255 after the direct appeal, then notice the Supreme Court, and then you got a 2241, then you got a 60B. Y'all gonna learn what all that is today from the Hood Professor. Sit back and enjoy the ride. All right? Hit that like button. Hit that like button. You already know we got a whole lot of jewels for you, but before we begin, let me say this. I got my kick getting ready to start. Go over there and sign up for Kick at Unique Mecca Audio. Let me get right into this, get this party started.
Disgraced R&B singer RKelly is requesting help from the Trump White House. The 58-year-old has formally asked President Donald Trump to commute his 30-year sentence. He's behind bars in North Carolina for his 2021 and 2022 convictions on sex trafficking, racketeering, child pornography, and enticement charges. No word yet from the Trump administration on this matter. Kelly filed for an immediate release last year, claiming his life was in danger. An attorney also made a public plea for a presidential pardon, but one was never formally filed.
So that's what I want you to understand, that RKelly right now, his back is against the wall and every door has closed. RKelly ain't asking the jury no more to find him innocent because they already found him guilty. He ain't asking the judge to cut his sentence. He ain't asking the appeals court. Now he's asking the president of the United States of America, so that you understand, right? Now, and listen to me carefully. When a man is serving decades, starts looking towards the White House, that usually means every other door feels closed. The records are outside. The awards are outside. The fans are outside. But RKelly's still locked up inside. Looking at a release date that stretches into his late 70s. I'm talking about 2045 is when RKelly's release date is. So this ain't just about whether Donald Trump says yes. This is about what happens inside a man's head. And I'm going to tap into what goes through a man serving decades head, because I served 26 years in federal prison. So I'm going to express from my lived experience. All right? This is about what happens, like I said, inside a man's head, about to serve decades, going to sleep with that every night, waking up with it every morning. When his last realistic hope depends on one person who doesn't owe him anything. The president owes RKelly nothing. Let me say that. But being that RKelly is a taxpaying citizen, even from being incarcerated, he's entitled to have Donald Trump look at it. Y'all put in the comments if you think RKelly should be pardoned or get his sentence commuted. Put it in the comments. You think RKelly should come home? You think it's been long enough? Why not? Let's hear what y'all got to say about that, right? But let's get to the jewel of this. When you put your freedom inside somebody else's hands, you may spend the rest of your life waiting for mercy. Now, I want to thank everybody for reporting to the Hood Professor's class today, right? Let's give y'all a round of applause. Let's give y'all a round of applause. Hold up, relax. Because, relax. I know y'all like to ride. So we're going to do a little ride today, right? Is this hope or is this depression for RKelly to put his life in Donald Trump's hands? our honorable President Donald Trump's hands. Let's give the respect where the respect is due. I know a lot of y'all don't like that, so put it in the comments. I already know how you feel about it. Now, right? Let's ride. Now, let's get the facts straight. RKelly has formally requested communication on his federal sentence. A communication doesn't erase the sentence. It doesn't declare him innocent. It means he's asking for the punishment to be reduced. Do you think that RKelly's punishment should be reduced? His request is reportedly still pending. He received 30 years in his New York federal case. He also received 20 years in the Chicago federal case, but that's running concurrent. Most of the Chicago sentence runs at the same time is what that means as the New York sentence. So even though he got a total of 50 years, you put them together when they running concurrent, that means he just does the bigger number. The bigger number is 30. Now, most of the Chicago sentence, like I said, it runs together, right? But 1 year runs after the first sentence. 1 year runs after the first sentence. That's why the people decided it was about 31 years combined. In other words, the sentence don't start until after the first year. That's what the people decided. His projected release date is 2025. That would put him close to being 79 years old when he come out. And his 30-year New York sentence was upheld by the Federal Appeals Court. So this presidential request didn't come out of nowhere. Because when you exhaust all your remedies, then you have a right to go to the President of the United States to ask for a sentence communication or commutation or, to get a, conviction expunged. So it comes after the legal road kept getting narrower, right? And the jewel in that, a communication can change the length of the punishment, but it can't rewrite how the person arrived there. Let me hear your verdict in the comment on this, Ron. Should presidential mercy ever replace the courtroom's decision? Should the president be allowed to override the courtroom's decision? Speaking of riding, Ron, this is not a freedom certificate for RKelly. Some people hear commutation, and they think pardon. Those aren't the same things. A pardon can forgive the federal offense, meaning to erase it, so it's like it never existed. A commutation usually changes the sentence being served, just the amount of time that a person stays in prison. That distinction matters because RKelly isn't asking the president to say nothing happened. He's asking the president to say he has served enough time and he should be released. And that creates the real argument. How much time is enough? Y'all put it in the comments. How much time do you feel is enough for RKelly? Who gets to make that decision? The jury, the judge, the victim, the public, or one president with the power to cut the sentence? Put that in the comments who you think. Now, we're going to get right into another jewel, right? I like to ride with my jewels, right? I like to ride with my jewels, right? Now, mercy doesn't always mean the person was innocent. Sometimes mercy means the punishment was interrupted. That means that RKelly is asking for his sentence to be interrupted. Now, drop your jewel in the comment. Can you support mercy without disrespecting the victims? Now, let's talk about the dark psychological cell within RKelly's mind. Now, let me take you where the cameras can't go. Into the cell after the lawyer hangs up, after the news reports, and after the internet arguments for a few hours and moves to someone else. Now, RKelly still has to lay down on that prison mattress at night. He still hears the doors locked. He still has to count the years in front of him. And I can't claim to know exactly what he's thinking, but I know what a long sentence does to a man's mind because I served 26 and a half years in prison. You don't just count years. You count Christmases, you count birthdays, you count people who may not be alive when you come home. And when your release date sits near 80 years old, that date can start looking less like freedom and more like a finish line your body may never reach. Now, the jewel in that. The court gives you years, but your mind turns those years into fears, loss, and uncertainty. Now, I want to thank you again for reporting to class. What hurts more, knowing the sentence or knowing whether you'll survive it? Now, let's talk about the lawyer, right? I like to ride into the lawyer real quick. Every lawyer calls before life or death. Do you agree with that? Put it in the comments. When you have a case pending, every call feels different. The phone rings and your heart moves fast. Before the lawyer even speaks, your mind is already asking, did they accept my motion? Did they reject it? Did the president see it? Did somebody close to him say something and he changed his mind? Is my name being discussed? Or is that paper sitting under thousands of other requests? That kind of waiting can become its own cell because a final no at least gives you an answer. But pending keeps you halfway between hope and a breakdown. Every day with no answer becomes another day of mental suppression. Now, sometimes hopes keep you alive. Sometimes hopes keep you from accepting reality. Let me hear your verdict on this, Ron. Is a pending answer better than a final no to you? If you was in prison doing 30 years like RKelly, God forbid, would a pending answer of he might say yes be better than a final answer of him just saying no to end the anxiety? Which one would you want, right? Now, fame can open the conversation. Let's be honest. Most federal prisoners can't turn their clemency requests into national news like RKelly just did. They don't have famous records. They don't have millions of people arguing over them, whether it's good or bad. They don't have lawyers going on television. RKelly's fame may help his requests get attention, but attention ain't freedom. A trending name ain't a signature. Record sales can't open a federal door. Grammys can't overrule a federal sentence, and fans can't vote conviction away in a comment section. The fans can't vote or write off a conviction in a comment section. How much more realer than that can you get? Fame may get your name into the room, but power still decides what happens next. That's the part celebrity culture hides. You can be powerful outside and powerless inside, just so you understand. Now, the jewel in that, Ron. Fame can make the world remember your name, but it cannot guarantee the world will save you. Drop your jewels in the comments right now. Do famous prisoners get access ordinary prisoners could never receive? Remember, I did a story. Go look back at the video. I might put it down here in the joint, right? Go look back at the video. I did a video on Tory Lanez is suing the California Department of Corrections for $100 million. You know, it equates to something like he's asking for $1 million a stab wound. So you let me know is the other prisoners that don't have money or celebrityism like Tory Lanez, are they supposed to not get paid $1 million? Put in the comments, let me know. The victims cannot disappear. Let's just go there, Ron. Now, this is where we have to be responsible with the R. Kelly case, right? R. Kelly was convicted of serious federal crimes. The case involves the exploitation and abuse of girls and young women. Women testified, evidence was presented, juries returned convictions, and a federal appeals court upheld his New York conviction and 30-year sentence. So we can discuss the length of his sentence. We can discuss clemency. We can discuss rehabilitation. We can discuss whether 30 years is too much. But we can't make the victim invisible just because the defendant made music people loved. Talent doesn't cancel harm. Fame doesn't cancel accountability. And a hit record doesn't turn a courtroom into a fan club. Now, let's get to the jewel in that. You can love the music without lying about the conduct. Let me hear your verdict, Ron. Put it in the comments. Why do people sometimes defend the celebrity more than they listen to the people who were harmed by the celebrities? Now, let's talk about, and I know y'all gonna say, how you riding there, Unique? Well, I'm gonna ride down street code versus courtroom code, because it's all the same. The street code often teaches, protect the person you admire. Don't speak against the person who fed everybody. Don't destroy the legacy, but the courtroom doesn't operate on the fan loyalty. The courtroom looks at evidence, witness testimony, dates, recordings, patterns, documents, and federal status. The street may say, that's the king of R&B. The courtroom says, that's the defendant. And when the gavel falls, the title that matters most is federal prisoner. Now, hit you another jewel real quick. We ride right along. Thank y'all again for coming to class. Oh yeah, y'all have to hit the like button. Got to hit the hype, all that if you want to get this message out so the young people can see this and can share this to get in the algorithm, because just so y'all understand, I already got this, you know what this is. You know what I mean? But they don't even pay that no mind. Why give it and don't pay it no mind? And then tell you now people got to like, comment, and all this. So that's what y'all got to do. Like, comment, pop, and you know, the Cash App get ready to come up. That's the Instagram Cash App. Make sure you hit the icon that say it was created in 2020. All right, let's ride along. The street may judge your image. The courtroom judges what it can prove. Report to class, everyone. I honor you in reporting to class and share this class. Why do people confuse public popularity with legal innocence? Somebody let me know that. Now, let's talk about the calendar. See, a calendar don't even mean that. How many of y'all have a calendar in your house? Put it up, put it up. How many of y'all have a calendar anywhere in your house? Put it in the comments. Because in prison, every cell has a calendar if they care about their sentence. You get some that just do time and they ain't got nothing in there. You know, government soap, toothpaste, and you know, some deodorant. They even give you the toothpaste that came in powder, where you got to wet the toothbrush under the faucet and then dip the toothbrush in this little powder in a jug and take the toothpaste that come out like baking soda and brush your teeth. Y'all remember that? Put in the comments if you know what I'm talking about. That toothpaste that came in powder, like we're horses brushing our teeth. Now, I'm gonna tell you how important the calendar is. The calendar becomes the enemy. A short sentence has a visible end when you're looking at that calendar. A long sentence can feel like a second life, because you got to get all these, got to get a calendar for every year. Give me the next 5 years calendar. You know, R. Kelly was born in 1967. He's now in his late 50s. His projected release date sits near the end of 2045. That means he isn't just waiting to leave prison. He's waiting to see what condition he'll be in when he leaves prison. Will his health hold up? Who will still be there? Who will still be alive? Will the world remember him? Do you think the world remember R. Kelly in 2045? Put in the comments and let me know, how do you think the world would remember him? He's wondering, will his money still even exist? Will his family relationship survive the distance? Will he walk out independent or walk out needing somebody to take care of him? Do you think R. Kelly, by the time he leaves, he's gonna need someone to take care of him like elders? Or is that a decades-long sentence? Is that what it means? Now, the jewel in that, right? A release date doesn't guarantee the life you left will still be waiting. Now, put your verdict in a comment on this, right? Is freedom at most 80 the same freedom a man imagines at 30? Do you think R. Kelly's vision that he's imagining of him being released at 80 is the same as the freedom at 30? Now, let's talk about why President Donald Trump became the last hope. Presidents have broad authority to grant federal clemency. That makes the White House a different kind of court. There's no jury, there's no new trial. There doesn't have to be new evidence of innocence. It becomes a question of executive mercy. R. Kelly's lawyer has publicly called for for President Trump to intervene. Let's say it right. Now, the formal request has been reported as pending, but pending isn't approval. Publicity isn't approval. A lawyer's confidence isn't a presidential signature, and nobody outside the decision-making process can promise what President Donald Trump would do. That's why the story is so psychologically heavy. His team can ask, but they cannot demand the answer. So all he has to sit at the president's mercy. The last door may exist, but that doesn't mean the person behind it has to open it. Let me hear your verdict on this. Should a president's personal view be able to shorten a jury-back sentence? Now, what does accountability look like? Let's talk about what accountability look like, class. Accountability ain't just saying you got convicted. Accountability means facing the damage, facing the pattern, facing the people harmed, facing the decisions that built the case, and facing the possibility that your talent protected you far too long. If R. Kelly wants mercy, the public would ask whether he has shown remorse, whether he accepts any responsibility, whether he understands why the sentence was imposed in the first place, or whether he only believed the system treated him unfairly. People can change in prison. I know that personally, because like I said, I did 26 years in federal prison, and look what I'm doing. I'm talking to y'all on YouTube right now, trying to better your lives. Like I said, I know that personally, Ron. But change starts when excuses stop. Mercy without accountability can look like privilege. Do you agree that mercy without accountability can look like privilege? Now, rehabilitation. Rehabilitation ain't just wanting to come home. It's understanding why you were sent away in the first place. Now, put your verdict in the comment box, Ron. Should remorse be required before a sentence is commuted? Now, I'm going to give the lesson for the youth. I'm going to get out of here. We're at 25 minutes. I wanted to keep it 30 minutes. I got to make these a little shorter because I don't want to bore the class. Now, the message to the youth. Young people see celebrity. They see money. They see power. They see people saying nobody can touch me. But time imposes that lie. It exposes it. The same person who once controlled rooms can end up asking permission to control his own future. That's the part the streets don't advise. Bad decisions don't always collect payment immediately. Sometimes consequences wait until you feel untouchable. Then they take your freedom, your reputation, your family time, your health, and your ability to make your own decisions. And that's why we got to give you the jewel. Don't envy the power a person appears to have today. Look at the price they may have to pay tomorrow. Drop your jewel in the comments on this. What should young artists learn from RKelly's fall? Put it in the comments. What do you think young artists should learn from RKelly's fall? Now, I'm going to give you my verdict on this, right? I'm not here to tell President Donald Trump what to do. I'm not here to erase the jury's verdict. I'm not here to silence the victims, and I'm not here to celebrate a man dying in prison either. I'm here to show you the whole consequence. RKelly once had millions of people singing his words. Now his future may depend on whether one man responds to his request. That's a fall most people can't imagine. But it didn't begin when the judge announced the sentence. The sentence was being built before the courtroom even began. The decision by decision, the warning by warning, the person by person, until the music stopped and the federal clock started. Your sentence doesn't always begin when the judge speaks. Sometimes it begins with the first wrong decision you refuse to correct. The streets are real, but prison is realer, and it ain't worth it. And that's what we're here to tell you at Unique Mecca Audio today. Now I'm gonna ask you 10 viral questions. I want 10 controversial questions. I want y'all to respond to this. We're gonna hit the bell, let you know when the question is coming up. Okay. Should President Trump commute RKelly's sentence? Put that in the comments and let me know. Now, only after reviewing the convictions, the victim positions, his conduct in prison, and evidence of genuine rehabilitation, only after that would he look at it or grant it. Is 30 years too much for a man in his late 50s? Age matters when discussing punishment, but it doesn't erase the seriousness of the duration of the conduct. So is 30 years too much for a man to do in his late 50s? Now, got to hit the bell. Can you support RKelly's music without supporting him? Yes, appreciating art doesn't require denying the art's conduct. But at the same time, it's like they stopped playing his music on the radio. Now, would an ordinary prisoner get this much attention for putting in the very same clemency or commutation? Probably not. Celebrity creates access in publicly. Publicity that most incarcerated people never receive. I had to think about that for a minute. Should victims have a voice in a clemency decision? Yes, their views should be considered, although they may not be the only factor. Now, does asking for commutation show desperation or wisdom on R. Kelly's part? Now, both. It may be his wisest remaining legal move because his other options has narrowed. Should remorse be required before mercy? Genuine accountability should carry major weight because release without insight can undermine the purpose of the rehabilitation. So should R. Kelly show remorse before he's required mercy? Is freedom at almost 80 really freedom? Legally, yes. Physically and socially, decades in prison can leave a person with very little of their former life. And I know because, again, I served 26 years in federal prison. After R. Kelly supports ignoring the victims, right? R. Kelly's supporters ignoring the victims. Some are advocating sentence reduction, but others appear to dismiss established convictions because of emotional loyalty to the music. Meaning some want him to be free because of the loyalty that they love his music. Should presidents have this much power? Clemency power. Clemency can correct excessive punishment, but broad power without transparent standards can create unequal treatment. Just letting you know how it is. We over here at Unique Mecca Audio. We want to thank y'all for coming. And before I go, I want to show you why I do this. I met a young lady while I was chilling out with the homies, and come to find out she was a fan. She watched the show. So we're gonna dive right into that, right? We're gonna dive right into that. Where I got it right here.
Hey, what's going on, man? Murder Mook.
Hi. I watch Unique Mecca's YouTube, and it's amazing. Like, his whole story is so nostalgic. It's so like Harlem. It's so like 1980s. It's so 1999. I've been watching his channel for about 2 years, and it's very informative and it's real. You don't really get the real deal from everybody, but with him, you definitely gonna get the whole real story. This is a Harlem legend, kingpin, legendary. I'm so happy to just even meet him and be in his presence. Like, his channel is very informal, and if you subscribe, you're gonna be just like me, a fan.
Alright. Hey, what's going on, man? Murder Mook, Harlem. You know what it is, man. I just want to express how much gratitude I got for Unique. You know what I mean? I was telling him a story, telling him how I felt about, if anything was to go wrong with my career, rap-wise, if, should be slow, and I got so many opportunities to be able to do the wrong shit. When I watch Unique Mecca Audio, I feel it, and I like to my soul, and that's keeping me farthest away from doing anything criminal. Anything criminal. He made me think straight, honestly. Made me think straight, because I've been watching him for about a year, like a year now, maybe, and it just took my mind way off of that. From a year ago, it got rough. For a year ago,
Yeah.
and from watching this man, I just felt like you saved me. You saved me. And I just want to show my gratitude, and I want to say thank you, man. Unique Mecca Audio, anything you need, brother, from me.
All right.
Anything you need, man.
All right.
I just want to give a shout out to Unique Mecca Audio. He is so dope. I had the experience of actually meeting him in person. I've been a fan for 2 years, watching his story and watching his videos on YouTube. He is the bomb.com. Harlem legendary kingpin, real official. As soon as I sat down by him, I knew like it was like a different energy, a different vibe. But then once I heard his voice, I'm like, oh my God, is that him? I'm all fanned out. Like, you know, it was such an experience getting the chance to meet him and, you know, being a fan of his YouTube channel and just following him for the last 2 years and knowing his story and seeing his interviews. And I support him 1000%. And I'm subscribed to his YouTube. You should go and subscribe as well. Amazing, amazing. I'm like, oh my God, is that him? I'm all fanned out. I just want to give a shout out to Unique Mecca Audio. He is so dope. I had the experience of actually. Hi. I'm like, oh my God, is that him? I'm all fanned out. Like, you know, it was such an experience getting the chance to meet him and, you know, being a fan of his YouTube channel and just following him for the last 2 years and knowing his story and seeing his interviews. And I support him 1000%. And I'm subscribed to his YouTube. You should go and subscribe as well. Amazing, amazing.
What you got from the channel?
History, how hard it is to be in jail, the right and wrong moves to make when you outside, how one wrong move will cost you a whole lot, to be better, to do better, a lot of stuff. You'll get a lot of stuff from his channel, you know? It's very informal. And, you know, whatever that means to you, you'll definitely take a piece with you. Like, this is a good YouTube channel, honestly.
Tell them who you on, where they can find you.
Okay, I'm Cora. You can find me at Instagram on Why Hate on Her. And, yeah.
Cheers, cheers, toast the crime, toast the crime, the crime, the crime, the crime.
What?
Mecca what? Mecca Audio, Mecca what? Mecca Audio, Mecca what? Mecca Audio, Mecca what? Mecca Audio.
Fresh out the can of 26, he back on the strip, getting back in the mix. What he mentions a gift. You stand up 10 toes down, and I suggest you pay attention to this.
Real.
Take a little gully posse and put it in Harlem. He cut from the bottom, came up from the bottom. Drop the book, you should go and get it. An Instagram page and a YouTube, you could go and visit. Then you could consider yourself LinkedIn. Sit front row and get Jews from a kingpin. How he went through it, so you ain't gotta go do it. To not pay attention would be stupid. Talking about a man that probably put your grandfather on. Probably the reason that him and your grams got along. A man that generated millions on the block, did his time, never squilling to the cops. Mecca Audio.
Mecca what? Mecca Audio, Mecca what? Mecca Audio, Mecca what? Mecca Audio, Mecca what? Mecca Audio. Then we gon' do it like. We gon' do it like. We keep it moving like. We gotta do it like.
Get it live like 2 G's in the 90s. Drop top beamer so shiny. I let shorty go, she was whining. Treat her like my past, she behind me. Spend a couple bands on the Dapper Dan. You be back again, getting green like a Packers fan. No cap, it's a roaring uptown. They be horn uptown, Dominican bust downs. Now we on the positive, we got a lot to give. Now he trying to stop the kids from being inoperative. So take heed, homie, lend a ear. He started in uptown, he gon' finish dead. But now it ain't about selling drugs, buying cars. It's about buying property to make the community ours, so we can give back to the